The classroom was too bright that morning, too clean, too perfect. Sunlight poured through the tall windows, catching the faint dust in the air, and yet, in one dark corner near the back, a girl sat alone, her head lowered, her hands tightly clutching the strap of her faded bag as though it were the last bit of comfort she had in the world. Her name was Elena Torres, and today was her first day at St. Patrick's High School. The moment she walked in, the room went silent, not the kind of silence born from curiosity, but that biting quiet that happens before cruelty strikes. "Who's the new charity case?" sneered Kara Blake, queen of the class, a girl with perfect hair, perfect grades, and a soul that had long forgotten kindness. Her friends, Tina and Jess, snickered from their desks, eyes flicking over Elena's worn sneakers and thrifted skirt. Elena tried to smile, tried to introduce herself, but her voice cracked halfway through. "Hi, I'm..." "Don't care," Kara interrupted. "We don't do pity projects here." Laughter rippled through the room. Even the teacher's glance did little to stop it. Elena sank into her seat, her chest heavy, her throat tight with humiliation. What no one knew, what no one cared to know, was that Elena had just moved from a small coastal town after her father died in a construction accident. Her mother, still drowning in hospital bills, had taken a second job cleaning offices at night. Elena didn't come to St. Patrick's looking for pity. She came looking for peace. But peace was the last thing she'd find. By the end of her first week, the whispers followed her like shadows. "She smells like the bus stop," someone said once. "Her dad probably ran away." Someone else laughed. In the hallway, shoulders brushed hers too hard, notebooks were knocked from her hands, and the phrase, "go to hell," became as common as, "good morning." Still, she endured. Elena had something inside her, a quiet resilience that even she didn't understand. When she went home, she didn't cry in front of her mother. She didn't tell her about the cruel notes slipped into her locker, or the juice box that exploded on her desk, by accident. Instead, she went to her room, pulled out her sketchbook, and drew. Drawing was her escape, her sanctuary. With each pencil stroke, she created worlds where kindness still existed, where people smiled with their eyes, not sneers. Her late father had taught her that. "Art," he'd said once, when she was still little enough to sit on his shoulders, "is the only place where pain can become beautiful." Then came the day everything changed. It was raining, one of those relentless, icy drizzles that made the sky look bruised. The lunchroom was packed, filled with the buzz of laughter and gossip. Elena sat at a corner table, eating alone as usual, tracing the outline of a butterfly on a napkin. Across the room, Kara was showing off a new phone, a gift from her father for her upcoming birthday. She was loud, radiant, confident. Everything Elena wasn't. But then something happened. Kara noticed Elena looking in her direction, not at her, really, but at the sunlight catching the phone case, which had a shimmer that reminded her of glass waves. Kara smirked. "Hey, freak. Like what you see?" Elena blinked, startled. No, I wasn't." "Sure you weren't," Jess chimed in. "She's jealous. Poor thing can't even afford lunch, and she's eyeing your phone. Go to hell." Kara spat, standing up so the whole cafeteria could hear. The laughter rose again, cruel, mocking, suffocating. Kara's friends surrounded Elena's table. "Please," Elena whispered. "Just leave me alone." But they didn't. Kara, in her twisted amusement, grabbed Elena's sketchbook from the table. "What's this?" she taunted, flipping it open. Inside were dozens of pencil drawings, faces, landscapes, dreams turned to graphite. "Give it back," Elena pleaded, her voice cracking. But Kara was relentless. "Oh look, she drew us. How cute." She held up a drawing of three faceless girls standing in the rain, an eerie resemblance to herself and her friends. "What's this supposed to mean?" Kara demanded, her tone turning sharp. It's nothing, Elena said quickly, trembling. It's just a drawing. But to Kara, it wasn't just a drawing, it was mockery. And she hated to be mocked. In one vicious motion, Kara tore the sketchbook in half and threw it into a puddle of spilled juice. Elena froze. The sound of ripping paper felt like the tearing of her soul. Something broke inside her then. Her breath hitched. Her hands shook. And then, she ran. The rain outside had turned into a storm. She didn't care. She ran until her legs burned, until the school faded behind her like a bad dream. She ended up at the old bridge on the edge of town, the one that crossed the river her father used to take her fishing at. She stood there for a long time, clutching what was left of her sketchbook, watching the water churn below. She whispered to the wind, "I can't do this anymore." But just as the darkness in her heart began to pull her forward, a voice called from behind. "Elena." It was Mr. Hale, the school's art teacher. A kind, soft-spoken man who'd noticed the quiet girl in the back of his class, the one with extraordinary talent but no smile. He approached slowly, his umbrella shielding her from the rain. "Don't," he said gently. "Not like this." Elena's tears mixed with the raindrops. "They hate me. Everyone hates me." "No," he said firmly. "They don't know you. There's a difference." She looked up at him, trembling. "They destroyed everything. My sketches, my work, my father's last gift." Mr. Hale knelt beside her. "Paper can be torn," he said. "But art, true art, lives inside the person who creates it. No one can destroy that." And for the first time in weeks, Elena let herself cry. The next day, word spread that Elena had almost done something irreversible. A few students whispered about it, some feeling uneasy, others brushing it off. But Kara couldn't stop thinking about it. When she went home that night, she found herself staring at her reflection. The laughter from the cafeteria echoed in her head, but this time it didn't sound victorious. It sounded cruel. She tried to sleep, but nightmares haunted her, visions of Elena standing on that bridge, rain pouring down, eyes full of pain. Days passed. Then weeks. Elena stopped coming to school. Mr. Hale told the class she was taking time off to recover. No one knew what that meant exactly. But the weight of guilt began to sink into Kara's chest like a stone. She couldn't focus. She snapped at her friends. Even her perfect grades began to slip. Then one afternoon, while walking home, Kara passed by the local art center. A small poster in the window caught her eye. Exhibit, The Colors of Silence, art by Elena Torres. Her heart dropped. She hesitated outside, torn between pride and shame, then finally stepped in. The small gallery was quiet, the walls lined with Elena's artwork. But these weren't sad sketches anymore, they were breathtaking paintings full of light and shadow, joy and sorrow intertwined. Each one told a story of pain, resilience, and forgiveness. In the center stood a single painting, a girl standing in the rain, holding a broken sketchbook, but behind her was a glowing sunrise. The title, Rebirth. Kara stood there, speechless, her throat tightening. Elena made that after she got out of the hospital, a voice said softly behind her. It was Mr. Hale. She wanted to show that even in pain, beauty can grow. Kara swallowed hard. I did that to her, she admitted, her voice barely a whisper. Mr. Hale looked at her for a long moment. Yes, he said quietly. But the question is, what are you going to do about it now? The next morning, Kara walked into school differently. Her hair wasn't perfect. Her makeup was gone. Her heart was pounding. During assembly, she stood before everyone, her voice trembling. I need to say something, she began. What I did to Elena Torres was wrong. I bullied her. I made her feel worthless.